Morning, everybody. How you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I'm Sean Butler. Bugsy Malone is up in front, doing the things that she loves. I hope you are too. I hope you're pursuing health and happiness in all of your endeavours. Please do me a favour, guys. Smash the like button for me like you always do. Smash the subscribe on the channel if you haven't already. Join the now near 11,700 Tottenham fans that have gone before. Welcome back to all of those. Welcome to the new. Hit the notification bell and drop a comment. Let's get on with today's transfer news and views and clues. And the first part of this is not really a transfer story, but it is indirectly, because I think it's massively consequential. And that is Ryan Sessegnon. Ryan bloody Sessegnon. You know, there's not a lot of hamstrings that I've come across in my life that I have a distinct disliking for. Most of the time, I'm not that bothered about people's hamstrings. But your left hamstring, Ryan, your left hamstring is one of the worst left hamstrings I've ever had to think about. It's gone again. In case you didn't know, he got injured, I think, on day 2 of pre-season training, and he's had to undergo surgery. It's the worst hamstring in football, I swear. It's almost as bad as Michael Owen's, or it's worse than Michael Owen's. At least Michael Owen, during the intermittent periods when his hammies weren't going, was providing some value to his club. Ryan Sessegnon he's almost like a leech on the progress of the left side of this football club. I feel sorry for the guy, I really do, because his career's been blighted with it. But you take him out of the equation and you think about the things that matter to me, and his club before player, it's a nightmare. And I think the reality is that this is going to be quite consequential. Like, a lot of you might be thinking, well, okay, so what? He's got his hamstring issues. We don't want him in the first team anyway. Yeah, but I don't want him in the first team squad. And the problem is that when your hamstring goes pre-season and you need an operation, nobody is going to buy you. And so consequently, that means that in all likelihood, one of your squad places will now remain occupied by a player that you don't really want, but there's a reason to keep him around because of the homegrown thing. And it makes the difficult decisions around other players that you are either trying to get rid of or thinking about keeping or maybe even signing, it makes those decisions, it influences those decisions. It adds more variables and not insignificant variables. The problem is now, like I painted a picture to you last week of this scenario where you go and justify Van der Ven and Tapsoba, because Van der Ven can not only play on the left side of a centre-back, he can also play as a left full-back. And so you could have him, Udogie and Ben Davies in the squad, and they all can play in their own positions but offer utility elsewhere. And so you have, like, there's opportunity, there's variable risk, there's versatility to take into mind. And if you went and got Mickey Van der Ven and Tapsoba, then in so doing it would have made it very much easier to make decisions around liquidating Sessegnon and Reguilon. But that doesn't happen anymore. And there's also 15 million quid's worth of value that has now been lost in the proposed or suggested ingoings and outgoings financially for the football club. And so Tottenham are probably going to have to keep Sessegnon in the squad because he won't be injured the whole season, but he does, when fit, offer some level of value. And of course, he's not a foreign player, so he helps with that contingent, all that stuff. But then what does that mean? What do you do then with Serge Reguilon? Because you've only got 25 spaces. So if Sessegnon has to hang around, then does that mean that you then have to sell Reguilon? And I'd imagine if that is the case, that's disappointing news for everyone that's watching who had a preference of Reguilon or Sessegnon. I think most people would say keep Reguilon of the two, but I think most people would say sell both if you can. To me, I think I'm not sure whether it or which side it throws weight behind with regards Mickey Van der Ven, does it double down on your need to go and get Mickey van der Ven? Because now you're going to start the window or start the season with an injured left back, a left back that we don't know can play left back in Udogie. Ben Davies, he's a utility player, but not ideal in any scenario. So does that kind of double down on the need to go and get Mickey van der Ven? Or does the fact that you can't sell Sessegnon and raise that additional 15 million or whatever he is worth mean that it's less likely that you go and get him and tap sober? I don't know what to make of it. I'm putting it out there with you guys. I want to hear your thoughts. I'm sure my opinion will be shaped by the opinions that you're sharing here. But for me, on paper, Ryan Sessegnon's hamstring deserves a t-shirt. It deserves a meme. Let me know if you've got any catchy slogans, and I'll make I'm going to start a merch store or something with Ryan Sessegnon's hamstring as the #1 bestseller. I hate it. I hate it. It adds so much unnecessary complexity to decisions. But listen, I wish him well, and I hope he gets back on his feet. But this is a problem for me. Hamstring injuries, once they go, they're never the same. And remember, we've got another player in the squad who started life at Tottenham Hotspur with aplomb, and then he hit a hamstring niggle. And then he got rushed back, and it went again. And then he got rushed back, and it went again. And he never really came back last season. I'm talking, of course, about Kulusevski. I really do worry that once your hamstring goes and you're young, it's going to be an ever-present. Let's hope that Decky can spend a lot of time with the laser therapy table or whatever they do to help recover the sinews and the fibres in the muscles. Very important. But anyway, that's that story out of the way. Let me know your thoughts on Ryan Sessegnon's bloody hamstring. And we'll move on. In other news, the only other real story today is, well, all of the players, there's two stories. First of all, it's the return of the international players. So we saw Spurs official put out some video clips of James Maddison arriving, Destiny Udogie arriving, Manor Solomon arriving. Man, Manor Solomon is a small gentleman. Concerning, very concerning. And of course, we saw the likes of, I don't know, some people that looked pretty grumpy to be back. Giovanni Lo Celso and Christian Romero arriving back from their break. They honestly, the pair of them together, looked like they had just rocked up to the dentist to have a root canal done. Like, what is the Spanish for anywhere but here? I don't know, man. Romero's probably had Lo Celso in his ear, like, for, I don't know, however much time they spend together, saying, come on, it's Tottenham Place. This Tottenham Place ain't for us, you know? So, concerning, but whatever, it is what it is. It is what it is. You can't force people to be happy. You can lead a horse to water, guys, but you can't make it drink it. Anyway, apart from that, put that to one side. Good to see all the other players get back. We can get down to business. Looking forward to seeing Harry Kane and Ange Postecoglou picture of them together, working hard, training hard. Hopefully we can get some good news there. The only other story that I want to bring to you is the story that I've saved for the last bit, and that is the story that Conor McGregor, I wouldn't mind him bring about a fight to the squad. Conor Gallagher has been linked once again with Tottenham Hotspur. Pierre Mahoybier, who was in good spirits according to looking at the video when he came in today, he is of course very highly linked away from the club. A little bit of a bidding war might be starting there. A few German clubs really like him, as does Atletico Madrid. So if he's going to go, Tottenham needs to replace him. Now, you know how I feel. If you've been watching my channel, I've been talking about more sixes than the devil over the last couple of weeks on here. I think a six is really important. But the rumour is that Ange thinks that Bissouma is good enough as a six, and that Skippy and Sarr can do that job if need be. I don't know how I feel about that, but we'll see. But he would rather go and get another 8. Someone who's a hard-working beast of a workhorse who's also clever on the ball. And Conor Gallagher is the name that the Telegraph have put forward. And the Telegraph is not a clickbaity headline It's not shameless. When they talk, they usually have some substance to it. So I'm going to give it some credibility. Me personally, I've spoken about Conor Gallagher before. I really like the player. I really, really do. I think he would work for a team, work for a manager like Ange. He'd add a little bit something different. And I could see him very much playing in that Hatate role. You know, competing with Bentancur. Whilst Bentancur's out injured, he'll probably start there. You could see it being Bissouma, Gallagher and Maddison for the opening games. And then, you know, adding good competition. I think he's a clever player. Obviously, we've seen two different real versions of him. We've seen the version at Crystal Palace where he was phenomenal. And then the version at Chelsea where not so much. But, you know, last season, everybody at Chelsea didn't look like a great player. If you looked at Enzo Fernandez last season at Chelsea, you wouldn't have thought he was a world-class player. And João Felix, you know, the list goes on and on and on. Nobody had a good season last season at Chelsea, so I don't think that one swallow makes a summer. What I would say is I believe that the level of Conor Gallagher is closer to the Crystal Palace version than the Chelsea version. If he's given some responsibility, if he's given some leadership, not leadership roles, but like being seen as an important player within the team. I think he would be, very much so, in that secondary 8. And I think he makes a lot of sense. But what I would say is the price target of 50 million is bonkers. English tax is English tax, I get it. But I don't think that anything like business will be done there at 50. Could you see some sort of fairly expensive loan with an option at the end? Maybe that would make sense. And I'll lean into Ange's trust. Or I'll trust Ange and lean into whatever his thoughts are on the situation. And I don't hate it at all. But I do know a lot of Chelsea fans who don't like him, think he's rubbish, think he's overvalued by the footballing world. And he really isn't worth the hype. They watch him more than I do, so I will definitely trust their opinion to a degree. However, I've seen a different side to him. I see a player that I think would really work in a system like Postecoglou's. So I'm okay with it, but not at the price point. I don't know if the need to buy him is because of the English homegrown thing. Maybe that's changed now because of Sessegnon's requirements. And maybe because Sessegnon's probably going to stay under duress. Maybe there's less of a need to get it. But like I say, the Sessegnon issue, I really think that's going to screw up a few plans and make us have to pivot and change direction, which is just what you don't need at this stage. The other thing, of course, I say is, look, I won't bang on about it again, but you know, I think that Bissouma is not an out-and-out number 6. And if your first choice player for the most important position in a system is a player that doesn't naturally fit the system or the position, then there's question marks there. And if he gets injured, then your backup choice is Ollie Skip, who can't pass the ball, and Pape Sarr, who couldn't get minutes ahead of Ollie Skip. Then I think that the bigger hole is in the 6. I understand the need to have more creative options. I understand the need that whilst Bentancur's out injured, we've still got issues, and that on paper, the squad that we have on paper, probably Sarr and Skippy probably favour defensive roles more than creative roles. I get it, but that's why I'm saying we've got a lot of square pegs for a lot of round holes, and there's a lot of squad turnover that still needs to happen. The season thus far has been a good start. Got to get these centre backs done. Even if you get both of them, I've still got a lot of question marks about the fullbacks on both sides and about the midfield. There's a lot of work to do. I really hope that Tottenham can find the money, find the budget, find the energy and the solutions for more than just these centre backs. I was really hopeful that Van der Ven would be announced by now. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. I'm leaning on this Darren Yarlett. I hope he's right. And the guy who I know, a guy who continues to tell me that these things are happening in the background and that this is a big and good week about to pan out. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. I've been talking much longer than usual. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Stay safe. And I'll see you on the next one. like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, guys, bye-bye.